fabric stash. Quilter flying, colors splash. Pins and patches, stories grow. Stitching secrets we all know. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Sewing tales with every square. Buttons falling everywhere. A crooked seam, but who will care? Iron presses line so neat. Friendships quilt can't be beat. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Sewing tales with every square. Buttons falling everywhere. A crooked seam, but who will care? Iron presses line so neat. Friendships quilt can't be beat. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Our life.
Stitch by stitch they weave the tale. A patchwork life where laughs prevail. Patterns clash, but who can tell? Quilted chaos suits us well. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around.
Remembered. Yes, I did remember. Walter was told he was supposed to remind me to take the mute off the microphone, And then he just sat there quiet because he wanted to see if I would remember. He was going to make fun of me. Yeah. He's like that. He's cruel. Very cruel. So, hello, everybody. And we see lots of people have come in to join us. And let's just check the monitor. Remind me to turn. Yes, it's working fine. Okay. That's good. So, let's see who is all here today. Lots of people. And Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah.
And Julie.
Happy New Year.
Julie was number one today, and she
Wow.
was determined. Julie logged in here at around 10 this morning or so. I don't imagine she was sitting there on top of it all that time waiting, but yeah. And then, of course, Russ came in a little later on, and Russ is trying to be funny. I know what peeps are. You're right, they are nasty.
I don't like them.
No. I mean, you're eating little chickens, little
My
marshmallow chickens.
little lady I used to work with was all
Into
into them.
peeps?
She would bring them in Easter each year, and I'd say no thanks.
Yeah, screw that.
I don't like marshmallows at the best of times.
Well, I can eat one, and then they're so sickly sweet. So Nina is here. She was number 3. And Caroline is here. She says, is it just me, or did this week go super fast? The week's been screwy.
Yeah. Like New Year's Day kept feeling like Sunday to me.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole week then after from New Year's has been screwed up. Oh, well. Come tomorrow, we're back on regular schedule. Let's see. Barb is here, and Suzanne is here. Inez is here. Pace is here. And Diane is here. Diana is here. Charlotte and Karen Lyles is here. Barb from England is here, and Mona is here, coming back from a retreat that Mona's been on. It looked like a great retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Mona showed us around the other day while she was there when we were on the pop-up soda. Bonnie is here, and Heather, and Faith is here, and Dubrovka. She says it's sunny in Timmins, but you're kind of buried, aren't you, Dubrovka? Because according to the news there earlier in the week, you got like something like 60 centimeters of snow. So that's a bearing. Of course, it is Timmins, so maybe not unusual. Johanna is here, and Joanne is here, and Sherry Cook, and Judy from Michigan is here. And let's see. Miss Purple Potatoes here. Greetings from Colorado. I've been missing in action for a while. Yes, you have been. Wow, you have a jingle now. Yep. That's new as well as Walter's beard. Nice photo of you both. Okay, it's been quite some time since you haven't been here then. Because Walter's had a beard for quite a while.
I've had a beard since, what,
Well, we grew them in
2020 or 20. Yeah,
well, we grew them during COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah. With that. Yeah, so it has been a while. Karen B is here. And Lydia's here. Hi, Lydia. And East Coast Kim is here. And she says, Kim and family. Yes, we were all watching. No, it's a family affair out there. Nothing on TV. Ruth Roberts is here. And Colleen is here. And Cynthia's here. She says, no, it's going to be a great year. My shoulder feels better still. Can't do a lot of things, but surgery said it's going to be a year before he wants it. I'm back in the basement, my women den. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that your shoulder is healing up. Suzanne, we've got Laurel is here. Deluxe 110, which is Pam in Minnesota, is here. Dana's here. There's Dana. Beautiful whore. Frost, I mean, on the trees here in Regina. Okay. Regina, they do things a little different. Sue is here. Hi, Sue. Mary Jane is here as well from Massachusetts. And Nancy's here. And Mary from Virginia is here as well. Mary actually gave me an idea that we're going to pursue on So Chatty this week, so be sure to tune in. You see, we do take people's suggestions seriously. And so after
sometimes.
Sometimes. So please, if you've got ideas for topics that we can talk about on So Chatty or even here on, on our live, please just drop us an email or a comment. And, with my ability to manipulate AI, I will be happy to pursue it further or see what I can do with it. Dubrovka says, yes, lots of snow, 3 feet at least.
Okay, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
And I looked your temperature up. You're minus 15.
Oh, that's all?
No, not ours, hers.
No, I know.
Minus 15, and which is 5 Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Well, we're -5 right now, but we were -10.
Yeah.
When I got up this morning, we were -10.
Yeah.
And,
well, it's not that far north.
Well, it's a bit of a trip.
Yeah.
I mean, how far is Timmins from here? Several hundred miles.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure how many.
Isn't it some 4-hour drive or something?
Is it?
Something like that.
Oh, it might be. Okay. But anyways, yeah, well, it's cold. It's winter. It's Canada. Yeah, this is what you get for living here with it all. So anyways, welcome everybody. And I'm sure we'll have a few other people popping in as we go on. So, yeah, we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions and things like that. Mostly about hours.
7 hours and 8 minutes.
How long?
7 hours and 8 minutes.
Yeah, well, I didn't
665 kilometers.
Okay, well, it's not just a hop, skip, and a jump. No.
Yeah, 8 hours.
8 hours, Dubrovka says. So, yeah, it's not just. It's a bit of a hike.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, well, fine. Why, did you want to go to Timmins?
No.
Not in the winter.
I don't think I've ever been to Timmins.
Yeah, we must have gone through Timmins
No,
when
I
we
don't
went
think
out
so.
west.
We went to, I don't think we
on our way to
went
Thunder Bay.
through Timmins because Timmins isn't on the, I don't think it's on the Trans-Canada Highway.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't remember. Of course.
Yeah, we went to Sudbury and then.
Oh, and then went,
across,
okay,
yeah.
we bypassed it. Oh, okay. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, you knew this was going to be the year of the bag, right? I've talked about that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the year of the bag. It might be. I saw a bag the other night that I would be interested in trying to make. I've just had a couple of not so good experiences lately, so I'm starting a new project. But just before I get to that, let me show you. We already showed you this on So Chatty, so I'm just a little reminder. But this is the mini zip case, and this is an Adams Sew pattern, and Adam's patterns are really good, and he has a video to go with them and everything. So what I'm about to say has nothing to do with the pattern, well, it does have a little bit to do with the pattern. I was a little confused in a couple of the steps, and I was very thankful that Adam did have a video, because that helped. But I don't know, it was going along pretty good, and it looks pretty good right there. It's okay, but I made a couple little boo-boos that are really not that visible and do not really affect the use of this. But I'll show you the inside of it on Tuesday on Idiot Quilter, and I'll talk about those boo-boos a little bit more and why they disturb me. But I wanted to say that I didn't enjoy making this. I thought I would, but I didn't. I really didn't. I thought it was going to be fairly simple. It's not, well, it's not hard, but it's not simple. I had great plans that I might knock off several of these, as future gifts or something. No, I'm not. But again, I want to make it clear that it has nothing to do with Adam's pattern. It has everything with me. So maybe and I am tempted to make another one, maybe, to try. Once you've gone through it, then you know, okay, this is what I should be doing. But yeah, I don't know, bag making, it's kind of, and after that amethyst bag, the one that I showed the other day that it was just horrible from that So Sweetness company. And I've had other people say mixed things about So Sweetness as well. Some people say, oh, they're great. They've done them all the time. They had no problem with them. Then other people have said, no, they're not great. And somebody told me, I don't know, I shouldn't spread rumors, but if you email or make a comment about any of the patterns that this particular person that does So Sweetness, she gets very upset with you. Apparently she does not take constructive criticism well, but I only heard that from, well, I heard that from 2 people. So I'm not sure. Maybe they just had bad experience. I don't know. So, I'm saving my judgment on that. But I have to say that I wasn't impressed by their instructions from that bag. I have several more of theirs, but I'm a little loath to attempt them after, bitten once, or how do they go, burned once, or
Yeah, well,
something.
a lot of these manufacturers, if they put stuff out there, even if you put out a comment that they don't like, they should just pay you lip service and say, "Well, thanks."
Yeah, or say nothing. Say nothing unless they write you, unless you write them a direct email. You see, I answer direct emails. If someone has something, then I will, because, they've obviously are putting their mouth where their money is, or money where their mouth is, whichever the expression is. Because when someone writes a comment in the comment section, it's a little different. I try to make some kind of, I've been doing better on that lately. I go through the comments several times in a week, and if there's something there that I feel I need to say something back to, if a question's asked, I will answer it. And sometimes I just put a like or a heart on it, because, it's not something that I need to answer because it's not a question. It's, they've made a very nice compliment or something like that, which is fine. But people who take the time to write you a direct email, okay, they're being serious about it. So I kind of I feel that I need to answer it one way or the other. Don't often get nasty ones, but, I think people know that if I get a nasty one, I'm going to share it on here. If you put it out there in public, in writing, you've got to expect there's going to be a reaction. You're not anonymous. Okay. So anyways, but yeah, so I'm putting the bag making slightly on hold for now, and I'm moving my way to a different one. Okay. This is a mock-up of what I'm working on. And I did this in EQ8, and I've started constructing it, but quilt math is hard for me. So I have a hard time, even I got out graph paper for this to figure out how I can fit these particular blocks around that panel. Now I have the pattern for this panel. It's by Patty Patchwork. And I didn't realize, well, I did realize it when I bought the pattern, because I really liked the panel. And this is going to be a Quilt of Valor quilt. But I've been burned twice by the Patty Patchwork patterns. But I thought, well, maybe the third time's a charm. And I started reading it, and I went, oh God, no. No, I see all kinds of potential problems with that pattern. But I really like this line of fabric from Northcott. It's their new O Canada Series 13. It's in the orangey, autumny shades and things like that. I really like the panel as well. So this is my own design around it. And as I said, this is a mock-up done in EQ8. Now I'm trying to make some of the blocks, and I think I have my measurements right, but I won't know until I start sewing it together. So I'm kind of doing this on a design wall. I'm going to make some of the blocks. I'll get them fit, like that top row across on top of the panel and the side one. I want to make sure I won't cut the panel until I see what those look like when I hold the panel up to it for the right measurement, because I don't want to cut the panel too small. If it's too big, I can cut it down. But if it's too small, then that would be a problem. So yeah, so this is my potential design. And in fact, I have changed this design since I did this a little bit more too. And I don't have a picture of the change. Just it needed to be bigger, the quilt. So I added more blocks to the outside border areas and things on that. So that's my project right now. We'll see how frustrated I get with that as the time goes on. Let me go back here. So what are people saying? I think I have one more picture, but that's for a moment. It's not for right now. So I'm just going to put that aside and go back to this screen so we can see what people are saying. Miss Purple Potato says, are you wearing a marijuana leaf print on your shirt? I most certainly am. One of Walter's shirts that he made me. Yes.
Actually, a funny story to go with that is someone we went to the
We were
fabric
high?
store,
No.
and we saw that it was we kind of liked it, and one of the ladies at the store told us that a woman came in, and her daughter, her little daughter or her little granddaughter, I think, picked that material for a pajama print, and her grandmother didn't know what it was.
Oh, I do get when people stop me when, oh, I love your shirt. And then they look at it and they laugh. And I go, yeah, I call it my weed shirt. Yeah. So, yeah, but it's legal in Canada, you see. So, yeah, not a big problem. Terry's here from Texas and Julia from Indiana. Sherry says, Stephen, you're too hard on yourself. Those bags you chose are very difficult. Maybe you should try something easier and complete quicker. Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that, Sherry. Now, I have made, and it was way back when I first got into quilting, I have made some complicated bags. They were by Annie, you know. A lot of people, you either really love by Annie patterns or you hate them. Some people that hate them complain that they're too wordy, but I find that they're very, very detailed. And if you take your time and read through the instructions, and especially she usually has a coupon in the pattern so that you can buy access to the video she has for each of her projects. And I find her videos are very well done, and you can pause them at each step of the way. And yeah, I really like the end result with those bags. They're very good. But you're right. I haven't made anything beyond a tote bag in a long time. And you're right. I probably bit off more than I could chew. So, yeah. I will go back. As I said, there's a bag that by Annie that I wouldn't mind doing called the MJ Messenger bag. And I'll look into that. I haven't bought the pattern yet. Well, first of all, it's not a PDF. It's a physical one. It has to come up from the States. So I'll go to my local quilt store. She carries a lot of by Annie patterns. She may have that pattern there. Or I'll look for it online in a Canadian
What about that
store.
one? Didn't you do one a while ago in that jean material?
Yeah, I did.
Maybe it's the same one.
I don't think it is, but yeah, that's something I gotta do. I gotta go through my drawers and all my patterns that I have in there, and I've got hundreds, literally hundreds of patterns for everything, like table runners, quilts and stuff. At one point when I got into quilting, I started to collect patterns like crazy. Oh, I like that, got to do that. Well,
I mean, there were several times that I was in the store with you one time and you looked at a pattern and you said, oh, I like that pattern. And then I said to him, don't you have that at home? And you said, no, I don't have that at home. And then you bought it and then you got home and yeah.
Yeah, story of my life. Memory's not very good. Walter's is. And he always points it out and then he tells me I'm an idiot. Yeah. But yeah, that's something I have to go through my drawer and really before I buy any other patterns.
Check your drawers.
Check my drawers. Yeah, check my drawers out for that. But anyways, we'll see. Laurel says, it looks okay from this angle. It looks like by Annie's running with scissors. It is very much like her bag, but Adam has his own twist on it as well. And well, on Tuesday, I will point out what it's okay. It's okay, but I am a bit of a perfectionist. So
there is a couple of things that are kind of weird on it.
Yeah, like the tab. I don't know what I did wrong with that little tab that goes on the zipper, because in my way of thinking, that's backwards. The zipper's in right, but I don't know.
Maybe it should be just shorter.
Maybe that's why it looks strange. Maybe I've left it too long. Well, that's an easy fix. But anyways, I'll have to explore it. But, you know, there's another way to look at all this. It's a learning experience. And I said the reason I wanted to do bags is I wanted to do something that was a little different than what I'm used to. And when you do that, you have to expect that there's going to be some learning in it. And you challenge yourself a little bit.
You learn that you don't want to do it again.
Well, that's true. But I've been in a weird mood anyways in the last couple of weeks because I really haven't felt like sewing, but I really think I should. And I have these UFOs. Now, this afternoon, I cleaned up Lucy, and I've got a quilt sitting on Lucy all ready to go tomorrow morning. I can go down and away. That's the cat one that I had on the design wall behind us at one point, which you can't see at the moment. I've got that, and I've got 4 other pieces that need to be quilted, and I've got to make a concentrate. I will feel better if they're done, when they're done and out of my hair, because Lucy and I, we have a love-hate relationship. She loves to hate me, and I just hate it when she hates me. If only he would learn more, and then I could just hear.
Yeah, I know. Well, get me started on that.
Well, you keep saying that, but your people and my people seems to hard to get to schedule, because I like to do things earlier in the day. You like to do things at midnight.
Yeah, well, so that might be good for me at midnight. It'll keep me out of trouble.
Well, then we'll have to set up sometime during the day for me to work with you on the first one or so, or at least.
Well, I just need to get some fabric and batting on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, so I'm designing this other one. It's a Quilt of Valor, because one of my goals this year is to do at least 1, if not 2, Quilts of Valor quilts for them, because that's my charity of choice now for giving quilts to. So we'll see how this all works out. Let's see here. Oops, everything bounced, as it does. Jean's here, and Mona says, I like your version of the tree panel quilt. I would like to do mine that way. Well, I might, if it works out, I might write it up as a pattern. And of course, my patterns, I always put a link to them. I put them on my Google Drive, and there's a bunch there already that I have written in the past, and they're free. I don't charge anything for my patterns or anything like that, because if you have trouble with it, you can't blame me, because it didn't cost you anything. There is method to my madness on that, but we'll see how that goes. It may take me a while on this one. Caroline says, when I made the So Sweetness Tower crossbody bags, I never would have figured them out without the video. I don't think her patterns are clearly written. Yeah, that's the problem I had with the other bag, but there wasn't a video for it. But then again, it was a free pattern, and I downloaded it probably 2 years ago when I saw it. So when you go back now, you have to pay for it. And I think if you buy the pattern, you get access to the tutorial. But I don't know. But I'm not willing to pay for that pattern. I didn't like it that much. And there's other ones for that kind of bag. There's lots of other patterns out there that I think are better written. Like By Annie's got one for that type of bag. Arta's here. Hi, Arta. From rainy San Diego. And she says, I've done bag making for years, and after a while I put it aside and started doing other sewing quilting projects. Yeah, well, it's like everything. You want a little bit of variety. And I mean,
I think she means that if you're having trouble halfway through
is that what she means?
You just put it away for a few minutes and do something else.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. Yeah, that helps. That helps sometimes.
Because a lot of times when I used to work in a job that I'd have to solve problems, and sometimes if you got stuck on a problem, you'd say, okay, I'll just take a break and go for lunch, or I'll do something else work on something else for a little bit, and then halfway through you realize how to solve the problem.
Yeah, well, I've had that. Sometimes I've awakened in the middle of the night with a solution.
There were many problems that were solved in the bathroom.
Yeah. I was going to say, I've solved many
or in the
problems.
shower.
I solved many problems when I've been dreaming. When I dream about them.
Go to sleep.
Yeah, go to sleep. Put you to sleep. Cheryl's here from Saskatchewan. Thanks, Caroline. Bonnie says, looking forward to see your next version. Quilts of Valor Canada has beautiful fabric. Yes, it does. I love the Northcott O Canada line of fabrics. I've got a lot of them. In fact, I could use some more, because you can never have too much of it. Wild Rose Treasures is here, and Candace is here. Thank you, Inez. Judy's here. Oops, late. That's okay, Judy. Barb says the very first bag I made was from So Sweetness.
Oslo
Oslo
bag.
bag. It's free. I had no problem. Watch the video, but then again, no zipper in this bag. You get the free pattern. Sign up for news. You can get the free pattern. Sign up for the newsletter. Oh, okay. Shadowwind is here. Brat46 is here. And she says, I have to take a pic of patterns I buy and keep them in a file on my phone. Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to make sure that you do that each time.
Yeah, I'd probably forget, but that's not a bad idea. Barb says, quilts are getting boring to make. Yeah, Barb, true. To a point. But you know what? That's not what is holding me back on the quilts this year, why I want to get in the bags. It's I have a ton of quilts that are in storage here in big, huge cloth bags that I bought some time ago. And they don't see the light of day. Which reminds me, I still have those curtain rods out there for the quilt. Yeah. Got to get on with that. So, and you know, I know people say, well, just donate them. Yeah, I've done that, and you've heard the whole discussion about that. I have a problem with my quilt going to some place where I don't know where it's going. You know? And I have a bigger problem with the fact that some of these organizations that take them, they just take them and run. And you never hear anything from them again about it. So, yeah. Like, at least when I donate to the Quilts of Valor, I know that it's going to someone who is quilt worthy. They thank you for it. They're very appreciative of it. And it's just a great organization. Which is kind of ironic because it has to do with the military and everything. And I'm sorry if I offend some people, meaning Americans, because I know how important the military is to the Americans. As a Canadian, for myself, that isn't as important. And I even have some derogatory things to say about the military in this world in general. But I'm not going to get into my philosophy about warmongering. But I have to say, the Quilts of Valor, the way that they decide who gets a quilt, it's just not anybody. It's not just because someone served. They match the quilts up with somebody according to their personality and their background and things like that. They take a lot of care and thought. And you know, that makes it even more important that I do a really good job on the quilt. And as you know, there 2 years ago, a couple years ago, we got invited down for their quilt day that they had, or sew day, and they presented one of my quilts, and that was so moving.
Yeah, we went for the sew day this year too, and it was kind of nice to, like, they make you feel like you're a part of something.
They're a really nice group. They make you feel like you're doing something that is worthwhile and appreciated too. And then when you see a vet get a quilt and they are so overwhelmed with emotion, it means so much to them. And that makes it worthwhile in my way of thinking. So that's why the only charity right now that I'm donating to is Quilts of Valor. I am possibly thinking about like the cancer people who go through cancer treatments and that in the hospital, but I have to look into that a little bit more for it because I think that might be a worthy cause as well. Let's see here. Gloria's here. Hi, Gloria. And Ruth's here. I bought fabric that I loved only to find I already have some. At least my taste is consistent.
Well, I've done that before.
Yeah, me too. Adam's here. Hi, Adam. So yeah. So we'll see what this year brings because I don't know. I'd also like to get into art quilts. I just don't know how to begin. And I know I've had several people tell me you just do it. You just don't think about it. You throw the fabric up there, you play around with it on your design wall, and away you go. But I'm one of those kind of people that I'm a planner. So this goes a little bit against my way of dealing with things, but we'll see. Karen Lyle says, I like trying out many different techniques. FPP, raw edge applique, stack and whack, embroidery, simple classic patchwork, antique reproduction, flannel versus cotton, etc. Keeps it interesting. Yes, you're right. I like to try different techniques too. And I do have a plan, or I do have a pattern I want to do for an in the hoop quilt. That could be a quilt of valor as well. For embroidery. The only thing about that is I'm not really sure that when you do something on your embroidery machine like that, it tends to go very, very stiff. And I don't think that would be the kind of thing that would be good as a quilt of valor. So I don't know, I have to look into that more. But that's one of the plans. It's there too. So anyways, those are things I've been up to. Walter, how you doing on the shirt?
I went to your sew day and I tried putting a collar on a shirt. And I've never, no, I know, I mean, and I wrecked it. I made a big mistake and didn't realize it until I was almost finished. And I couldn't unsew it. So I ripped it off again. And so, and I'm in the process of putting it back on again, but I haven't worked on it in the last couple of days. So,
see, so even Walter makes mistakes. He's an idiot. I'm rubbing off on him. Yeah. So anyways, so what's coming up? Well, we're back on schedule for Sewing with Stephen on Wednesdays. The holidays are over. We're back on track. So this Wednesday, 9 a.m. start Eastern time. Zoom link in the show notes below. Most of you know the drill for that. Hey, New Year's resolution. If you never come to a sew day, why not? If you're free on a Wednesday, what have you got to lose? Nothing. Good group of people that are there, and we always welcome new people into the fold as well. So, you know, nothing to be afraid of. Come join us. We love new blood. Adam says, how about a huge needle turn applique quilt, Stephen? Okay, I have done applique. I have done a couple of quilts. That one quilt that hangs on the wall in our bedroom, it's primarily applique, and it was really the first project I ever did with applique, but it's raw edge. I don't know if I would have the patience to even try needle turned applique. I mean, I love the end result of it when I see that done, but I don't know. But, and also applique is something that I don't mind doing it, but I don't like doing it. I mean, I think it's because it slows you down. I'm kind of a speed quilter. Maybe that's my problem. I need to slow down a little bit on these things. But never say never. I'm definitely not against doing the applique. In fact, I have a whole bunch. I just thought of this. I bought these quite a long time ago. There was a series of these little panels that came out that are for each province of Canada. And they were pre-cut pieces, laser cut pieces. They're very tiny, a little bigger than a postcard. And I did one, and they're just raw edge, and easy enough to do. And, you know, I got thinking, oh, I'll do the whole series and put them into a wall hanging or something like that. Well, I did one. I didn't do the rest. And it's just one of those things I have to be in the mood for. So, yeah. Bonnie's here from Utah. The other Bonnie says, back it up here. Karen says, yes, stiffness is a challenge. Using batting instead of stabilizer may help. It might. I'll have to try it and see. Bonnie says, I have seen some quilts of valor with applique blocks, but not embroidery. Yeah. You know, because you want the quilt to be soft for that kind of thing. Ruth says, I would like to do a small portrait quilt using fabric, textiles, and threads. My brain doesn't really work that way, so I think I would need to take a class. Yeah. There is a program. Now, Adam put me onto this, and I can't remember the name of it, but basically, if you want to do one of those portrait type quilts, from a picture that are all done in the little blocks, there is an American company online. You upload the picture to that, and you can do different things with the picture, and then it will create a pattern for you, and then you can download the pattern, and it's not expensive. I think it was like about
Yeah, but that usually gives you a big quilt, right? Because
yeah.
because
Well,
you
if
have to
want
do all these blocks.
well, I think though on that program, Adam can correct me if I'm wrong. I think you could choose the size. So
yeah,
you
I know,
could-
but if she says she wants to do a small portrait quilt,
well, okay, depends on what she's defining as portrait quilt, but I don't know, maybe
8x10.
Oh well, maybe, but then those would be little teeny pieces.
Yeah, well, that sounds to me like she wants to do like thread painting and stuff
Oh,
like that. on
okay.
it.
Well, that's something too. Thread painting in itself it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I've never really tried it, but I've seen it done. Well, who knows? There's lots of things out there.
Yeah.
It's just, sometimes there's just too many things to pick from. It becomes overwhelming. Barb says that applique is too fiddly. It is. It is fiddly. Susan's here. Hoping to join you Wednesday, so days the new year. Well, hope you'll be able to, Susan. Adam says, I find applique puts a real roadblock on how to quilt the quilt. That's true. I have had a couple of quilts where I've had applique on them and I put them on Lucy. And I debated, how am I going to quilt this? Because I wasn't comfortable doing like free motion and quilting around them. In one case, I actually just did edge to edge quilting right over top of the applique, and that turned out okay.
Yeah, actually, I think if you were doing needle turned applique, I think it would be good to, if there's a class or YouTube video on techniques on how to do it.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Yeah. Brat says, for the needle turn applique, I cheat by iron the edge under to make the crease, then use a glue stick to hold the turn edge down. Well, I've seen that technique on YouTube somewhere too. I don't think that's really cheating. I mean, if it works, it's just another technique.
But how do you stitch on needle turned applique? Do you
Right on the edge
Right on
of
the
it,
edge,
yeah.
okay.
Well, you remember those ones we saw in that quilt
Yeah.
show, and I was looking up close, the one that some bitch got upset with me because I didn't know the difference between applique and raw edge and that. No, what I was trying to do was try to figure out how small the stitches were, because it was incredible. The person who had done that they were microscopic. The little tiny in the stitches, and I was trying to figure out whether that was done by machine or done by hand. I still don't know. But
probably done by hand, but
I would think probably because of the size of the stitches.
Yeah.
Adam says it's called Pixel Quilt D Bushrod. She's epic. You can change the size of the quilt now too, I think. Yeah, that's what I thought when I looked at it last. So that Pixel Quilt, that's the program that I was talking about if you're interested in doing portrait quilts.
Jean Muesli says buttonhole stitch is what she does.
Oh,
I have to look at that.
yeah. To look at that.
Just curious, yeah.
Erstel 3. Not sure how to say that. Welcome. That looked like a delicious stout in the glass. Yeah, it's just Guinness. Yeah. And Adam says, Gene, that's how I did my latest applique quote for Circle of Makers. Stitch and turn applique. That's a lot of fun. Stitch and turn applique. Is that needle turn? Is that what we're talking about there? Or is that another method? I don't know. Okay, buttonhole stitch. What's a buttonhole stitch?
I don't know. I have to look that up.
Yeah, we'll have to look that one up. Yeah, Adam says that quilt I'm talking about, that would have been hand applique. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. But apparently this one took offense to the whole thing. Found out later, though, from some other people that this woman had been sort of barred from their little guild as well.
Yeah, she has a lot of comments.
She makes a lot of comments that are not positive about
She's
things.
on a holiday. From the
Yeah,
club.
that was the way it was put to us in that one quilt store. She's on a holiday. Forced vacation, I guess. Anyways, there's all kinds of things that, it's the one thing about quilting and sewing and that, there's always something out there. It's just a question of how comfortable you are with it or how much you want to challenge yourself. So
there's the Lori Holt method.
okay, I'd have to look that one
Yeah.
up and see what that is, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But that's okay, something new to explore. Ruth says, I've used edge to edge over applique blocks and even embroidered blocks, and as long as the quilting is not too dense, it works great and doesn't interfere or take away from the block design. Yeah, well, that's what I found on a couple that I had done over top of applique too, that, yeah, you don't make it really dense, a fairly open edge to edge design, and you're okay with it. And of course, your thread color as well. Buttonhole stitch is a satin stitch, narrow zigzag, with a stitch length of 0.2 or around that.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
I was just looking at the needle turned applique that we saw. You couldn't see the stitches
At all.
At all. You knew it was turned applique, but you couldn't see the stitches at all.
I think she may have used well, she either matched her thread to the fabric really well, or she used an invisible.
Yeah.
That's what I did on the big applique quilt that I did a long time ago that hangs on our wall in the bedroom that I talked about before. I started off, it had a lot of colors in it. It's all batiks, and it was a block of the month project, and still one of my favorite quilts. But I started out by changing my thread color every time I needed to, and I thought, oh God, I'll never get through this. So that's when I discovered the wonderful properties of invisible thread, and that's how I did it. And you can't really see the stitches on it because I use the invisible thread. I love invisible thread. The only thing I hate about invisible thread is trying to thread your machine with it, because it's invisible. You never can see it. But I use invisible thread to bind my quilts now too. So you know how technically, and I could never get this right, when you use the sewing machine on your binding and you start on the back and put the raw edge of the binding on the raw edge of the quilt, and then you bring it forward, and the idea is you do sort of a stitch in the ditch or whatever to hold it down, and it should match with the other side. Well, mine never do. So I find if I use invisible thread, I don't care, because you really can't see it. So yeah, it's a little tricky to work with, but it works, at least for me. Inez says, I loved applique quilts and often follow Yvonne on Jelly Roll Club. She is starting the winter quilt soon. I did the gnome quilt. And Adam says, they are slip stitches under the edge of the applique, like a binding hem on the bottom of suit trousers and pants. Yeah, but you see, that's hand sewing.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about hand sewing.
Yeah.
I admire it. I just don't want to do it. Yvonne teacher many ways to applique in the gnome quilt series. Okay.
Okay. That's
All right,
interesting.
that's something to look up. Deluxe 110 says, I just finished listening to the Aloha Quilt by Jennifer. I have no idea how to say it. Chia Verni?
Verni?
Good story and great description of how to do the needle turn process. Okay, another one to look at. So there's lots of resources out there. Lori Holt's method, Adam says, you stitch lightweight interfacing right sides together, then cut a turning hole. Oh, I have seen this in the interfacing, and bag out the pieces so the interfacing pulls the seam allowance under. I have seen that. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, that's something else. Another technique to try. Lots of techniques here, people. Okay, so anyways, so Chatty this week, if you haven't seen it yet, on Friday. This came from a suggestion from another one of my subscribers, Nancy Ryan, and she wanted me to do a thing, or us to do expectations versus reality. And so I did some searching for stuff, and well, if you've seen So Chatty on Friday, you know what we talked about. But basically, it's all that whole thing where, you know, I thought it was appropriate for the new year, because people start, if you're not making resolutions, you're probably making plans. We get that little spurt of, you know, wow, new year, let's do something exciting. I'm going to get all this done. I'm going to get every UFO I've got all finished this year, and I'm going to have them all finished by the end of January. And I'm going to do all these new projects, and I'm going to learn 12 new techniques. And then the second day of January happens, and you go, oh, I don't know about that. So we did talk about expectations versus reality and how you might cope with that dichotomy. We had a pop-up sew day on New Year's Day. And it was well attended. I think at one point we were over 30 people there, which is pretty darn good. And I think everybody had a good time and got some things done. And it was a nice way to start the new year. Even Walter joined in at one point, late, but he joined in to it as well. So yeah, that was great. And what else? Okay, so new toys. So you've heard me say this one before. So Walter says to me, well, I bought something last night. I went, oh.
Well, it was in response to him taking a hissy fit a couple of days before, a few days before.
Hissy fit?
Yeah.
I do not have hissy fits. I might get a little upset, but they're not a hissy fit. You prick. But, so,
we had this robot vacuum. Actually, we have two robot vacuums. We have one downstairs that is
our original
one, which was a Roomba from a long time ago, and actually it's pretty good.
It still runs fine.
It still runs
I
fine.
mean, it looks a little beat up and bashed
And it's
about
dumb.
the ears, and it's
it's dumb. The only way it does random floor, and it crisscrosses and bumps into things.
Yeah, and everything, but it does a good job, and it's still operational, and we love it. But then we'd have thought we should come into the modern age and get one that has intelligence in it.
A newer one. So we bought a newer Roomba, and big mistake.
Well, it was on sale at Canadian Tire.
Yeah.
Don't you know? Mm-hmm.
So we bought it, and it's been sort of okay. It's kind of semi-smart. It's not that
I'd
smart.
say it's a bit let's see, it's a bit challenged.
Mentally
challenged.
So like
may even be on the spectrum.
It would stop. It would bump into something, and then it would stop and get confused.
And wouldn't know where the heck it was
wouldn't
going.
know where it was, and you couldn't get it to restart it until you had to pick it up and put it on its base.
Put it back on its base again and get that all over. It was a pain in the butt. I mean, it cleaned and everything, but you were constantly babysitting it. So, what did Walter buy?
I've done a lot of research on different ones, and I went and bought one. I don't know how long it'll last, but it's smart, and it seems to work okay.
And this is what he bought. It's called a Mova. And it's one that vacuums and mops, and it all runs from your phone. You have an app, and it maps out the house and everything like that. And it's got a bit of a learning curve because the instructions that come with it are not the world's best. In fact, they're extremely minimal. But I think the more we've played with it, the more we start to understand it, and the more I like it. And we were a little bit worried about we talked about getting one that did mopping as well. Now we have combination hardwood floors and carpeting. And we
have more carpeting than
hardwood floor. And I was afraid, well, what happens if it gets all confused or something and it starts to like wash the carpet? It's not a carpet cleaner.
When we first got it, we did have that problem.
Yes, we did. But that was us. That wasn't it with the whole thing. So Walter, of course, did his research on this one. And he found what? This was
this particular one allows the mops to detach and just vacuum, and without it trying to use its mops.
And it washes the mops in this docking station. The docking station holds water. It heats the water up. So you've got hot water washing the mops in there. And it has a bag inside of it. So when your vacuum is finished and it's backed its way back into the dock, it sucks all the stuff out of it and into this bag. And then when the bag gets full, I guess it tells you, and you just throw the bag out and you replace it with another bag. And then there's cleaning solution in there as well.
So it's not like it's cost free after it's done, because you still have to buy bags and you have to buy cleaning solution.
But Walter's been stocking up because he got coupons, don't you know?
Yeah, they gave me $80 worth of coupons So I could get, so I got a bunch of accessories uh, to buy for it.
Yeah. So anyways, we have figured out the mapping system. Walter spent a great deal of time making it a more accurate map than what it thought. And I have figured out now how you can put shortcuts onto the app to do just a certain area that you want to do and set it all up that way. I mean, you can have do the whole house, and if it's got the mops on it when it's vacuuming, it does detect when it's hitting carpet, and it raises the mops up and carries on with the vacuuming and all of that. So yeah, it's pretty cool, really, and it does a really good job.
But yeah, well, it has a really big learning curve. If
Yeah.
you're not comfortable with apps and all the other stuff, you may have a problem, because if you just try and push a button to get it to start, it may try and mop your carpeting, and it may try and do a bunch of other things that you don't expect it to do.
Yeah.
So,
But so far now that we've like kind of got used to how it thinks and whatnot, I like it. It's even got a camera on it. If you want to see under your bed. Supposedly if you had a pet, it has a pet detection thing on it too, so it doesn't suck Kitty up into it or whatever, or try to shampoo your dog one way or the other. But it's pretty cool. Now, it's not a cheap toy. That's the thing. Walter got it on sale, though. Of course he did. Because what? Was it regularly what, $1,000?
it was $1,100.
Ooh, I didn't know it was that.
Yeah, and I paid $6.99 for it,
Mm.
which is pretty pricey, but
Yeah, but they're all
it
pretty
seems like
pricey.
that's the average price for anything.
yeah, that seems to be the going thing. But anyways, that was the new toy there. And as I said, we're getting used to it, and it's getting used to us. So that's a good thing. Let's see. Rachel came in, and Artist says, Stephen, I'm hand applicating a hexagon quilt and using an 80 weight thread matching the background fabric. The thread doesn't show on the edges of the applique. Yeah, an 80 weight, yeah, would be because it's a finer thread.
It's a fine thread.
Yeah, the invisible thread I use 100 weight on it. So I mean, when it comes to threading your machine, if your thread breaks or comes out and you're trying to put it in, you're trying to find it. I said, oh well, it's invisible. How do you do that?
So I'll see how long the robot vac works.
Yeah. Adam says his friend has one of those robot vacs. Hers, how do I put this, tries to mate with her chest of drawers if the lower drawer is open and gets stuck in the thrashing motion. Okay, you got the
See, this
dirty
one's
model.
supposed to avoid obstacles.
Yeah.
And actually it did, because one day when you were vacuuming, there was a sock on my floor.
Of course there was.
And it avoided it.
It doesn't have an arm on it. There is one out there that has this arm, and it pulls out of it.
Yeah,
and
but
if there's
it's
like a
like-
sock, it picks it up and
Yeah, it's like $1,800.
Yeah,
So
well,
I'm not paying that much for
it's
it.
easier if you just pick up your clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Jean, she's called me crying with laughter on FaceTime, showed me before. And Renez says, I have a robot vac, and he's called Ron. I don't have a name for this one. We just call her Robo. That's what we called the old one too. And that, so anyways, we'll see what that's all about. Okay, so I did buy another toy as well, which I mentioned before, but a bit of a journey here. I bought another AMS, which is an automatic materials supply system. It's for my 3D printers. You know, it holds 4 spools, filaments of thread. So I already have, well, I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 AMSs now. This will be number 5.
It automatically helps you. It automatically changes the colors.
Yeah, and everything. And 4 are good, but 8 colors are better. So I decided I wanted another one for my original Bamboo Lab machine. And it came really quick. Came within about 2 days. However, Bamboo has this thing. They don't send you everything at once. I don't know why. It may have to do with the way their logistics system works. They might be a piece here, might be a piece over there. Anyways, it's kind of frustrating. So I get the AMS, and that's all I got. Well, I need something called a hub. A hub is a part that you attach to the back of the original machine, and it allows you now to hook in an additional AMS and all the different filaments that go through these tubes and stuff. Well, and it also is a filament dryer as well on these ones. So there's a power thing that you have to plug in. Well, that came, but I didn't get the hub. So I was excited. The package finally arrived the other day, and I opened it up, going, the hub's not here. So I went online. Yeah, the hub is being shipped. These other two pieces that came separately were shipped by FedEx. This last little piece, which is only a tiny little thing, it's not huge, it's just a little tiny box, is coming by Canada Post. Now, last I looked, had been shipped out from Toronto, so I'm assuming it may arrive tomorrow, because without it, I can't hook up the AMS to the machine. I mean, it's not really a problem right now, but it annoys me the way they do these things with it. I mean, I love Bamboo 3D printers, and if you ever get a 3D printer, I highly recommend, if you've never had a 3D printer before, go with one of the Bamboo printers, because they work right out of the box and very little setup on them as well. So I highly recommend them. It's just annoying with the way they ship things out.
They must ship them from different places depending on where they have that particular part or something.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked us why our robo is a she. Because she has a female voice.
Because, yes, she actually talks to you as well, and she has a female voice.
And you can instruct her to clean certain areas of your house by talking to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's why we call it a she. We're not being sexist, although we all know vacuuming is a woman's job. Oh, I'm going to get hate for that.
And we can't change the voice.
No, it won't let us change it. And plus, it's very hard to understand the voice, because I think it was recorded by someone with a Chinese accent on there. So, and she talks fast. Just, okay, thank you very much, robot. I have no idea what you're telling me, so I ignore you.
Is the ink for 3D printers not astronomical? There is no ink.
There isn't any ink for a 3D printer. It's plastic. It's filament.
Do you have a roll of your filament handy?
Do I have a roll of filament? This is a roll of filament. This is what you put in the machine. This is the one.
This is your thread spool.
Yeah, this is this is the spool that goes onto it. And if you look over see those boxes on top of the printer, one up high, one down low, those are the AMSs, and each one of them holds.
I'll do a Vanna.
Oh, well, no, don't. Oh, okay, there you go.
This is an AMS.
That's an AMS, and it holds 4 of these in it, and it'll automatically change colors when the print you're doing calls for it, which is great, because on the machines that didn't have AMSs, my original machines, my Crealities, you pretty much were stuck with printing in one color, or sometimes I would use rainbow filament and that kind of thing to get a different effect. There was a way, but you'd have to put in a special code, they call it a G code, which the printers read, to pause it so you could switch rolls of filament, and that meant you had to be there. With the AMSs, nope, I set it and forget it, kind of a thing. And but it's nice to have the ability to do more than 4 colors, because there are some prints, like you've seen those big things that I've made that are the houses and things on that. Well, those ones takes 7 or 8 colors on them, and if I had to change out the spools every time, it would take forever, and they take a long time as it is to make. So with the AMS, I don't have to worry about that. So yeah, so hopefully I'll get that set up tomorrow. Oh, Betty's here. Yeah, didn't know what to call it. Oh, okay. It's called filament. Filament. Yeah. Plastic filament. Yeah. Rachel says I'm nodding at you. Okay. But anyways, yeah, so hopefully I get that tomorrow. And now I'm running out of things to print. Here's the problem now. I was talking about quilting and getting bored, with that, or wanting to try something new. Well, the thing with 3D printing is you can do all kinds of things, but a lot of the things are trinkets. their fidget toys or their dragons. And I have a lot of dragons. I don't need any more dragons. Or their little ornaments or things like that. Now, I did make Walter, and I'm going to show it tomorrow on my vlog. He saw it. It's a moonlight. And it printed out a moon. It's with all the craters and everything, but you put a lamp up inside it, and I bought a special kind of lamp for it. It's basically a disc. And when you put the other thing on top of it, it sits there, and you can see all the craters and everything on the moon. It's kind of cool. He saw it, and he says, "Oh, it's cool." So I made him one.
Yeah, originally I saw one that was a Death Star.
Yes.
And then you said that you had one that's a moon too. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah. And
Adam's got a question.
what's
Stephen.
it? That lady selling the APQ S 12-foot milli has reduced it to half price. I'm really tempted. Darren suggested I buy it and we move our lounge upstairs and the sewing studio downstairs. When your husband has ideas on what to do with it, don't think twice. Buy it. Run with it. And it's a 12-foot milli. Walter would be happy with that. And a milli has about a 30-inch throat. Well, it depends on which milli it is. One milli has the 26.
Yeah,
and
one has
the
a
30.
26, the other one has a 30.
Yeah, so
It has a
either.
progressive motor on the rear bar. So yeah, the automatic advance.
Oh, the automatic.
It's nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
We have that.
Yeah. But mine's a Lucy. The milli's the next one up with it. And half price. So what's
half price?
What's half price? Yeah. You can tell us in pounds. We'll convert it to Canadian. But I'm saying if Darren's already got it figured out where you can put it and how it's going to work, run with that. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you though, okay, so she's got it. You're going to need a small truck to get it home, because unlike some of the other manufacturers of long arms, the bars do not come apart. If it's 12 foot, you're going to have
12-foot bars.
12-foot solid steel
steel
bars. They're heavy. They're strong. Some of the other ones have extensions you can put in, but that makes the whole frame weaker. APQS doesn't make them that way. They're very, very sturdy. When we got Lucy, when it came literally in a transport truck on our street, and it came in 7 boxes, and a couple of those boxes had the bars in them, and mine's a 10-foot.
Yeah, and
they weighed a ton.
It was over 600 pounds.
Yeah.
It's
So it says
2,500 pounds for the whole setup.
So $5,000.
5,000.
Oh,
Ooh,
whoa.
that's good price.
Yeah. And is it a bliss track or the standard?
I'd love the Quilt Advance. Does it have a hydraulic? Oh, hydraulic lift would be better for my type of quilting. Yeah, well, you can get those hydraulic lifts, but they can be pricey.
They're very pricey, yeah. Oh, M's here. Hi, Em. Yeah, we rent a van. Oh, yeah, 25. So I'm thinking Canadian dollars. So that's about, basically, we double what the pounds are. They're a little less. I think it's 1.9.
That's Lydia that says Quilt Advance.
Yeah.
It says a Bliss track. Yeah, the Bliss track is good.
That's what I've got. That is a damn good price. Now, I'm assuming it doesn't have the quilt path, the computerized system on it.
No, he said no, it doesn't.
No. But, I mean, Adam, you're very good at doing free motion and stuff, so...
Not only that, you can probably do pantographs on the back.
Oh, yeah. Well, you'd be able to, yeah.
Do you know how old the machine is?
Yeah. And Lydia says the Innovas also have solid frames, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say go for it.
If you want to do it,
I would say go for it. If Darren's already figured out where you're putting it in the whole bit. I mean, it was Walter's idea that we got Lucy. I mean, I had said I wanted a long arm at some point, but during COVID, he said, well, we're not going anywhere. We don't know how long COVID's going to be, and we've got money for your trips and stuff like that. So...
Yeah, that's cheap. Yeah, it has laser and rear handles, so...
Oh, yeah.
So you can do pantographs.
Yeah,
so.
you can do pantographs on it, the whole bit. Oh yeah, that is so dirt cheap. You know how much mine cost? Like without the computer on it, it was what? 25
It
at the
was
time?
about $20,000, which is about 10,000 pounds,
Yeah.
and without the computer on it.
Yeah. So, and now they're more than that.
Yeah.
They've gone up a lot since we bought ours during COVID when we bought it. So I
And
would
it's
say,
not a Millie, it's a Lucy.
yeah, it's the
So,
Lucy. So you're getting a Millie. So the
yeah,
Millie is the top of the
yeah.
line. Uh,
The
but
Millie would have been about 5,000 more for us. That would have been about at the time.
yeah,
So that would have been about 25,000.
yeah. So, oh yeah, I wouldn't think twice about that now. I'd be right out there getting that. Yeah, Lydia says, that's super cheap. Yeah, it is for sure. Buy it. Buy it. Um, okay, so yeah, that was AMS. So what's coming up? We haven't even got to today's topic, but that's not unusual. So I said to Walter yesterday, his birthday is this month, 27th of January. And so I said, you know, we were talking back before Christmas and that we should, you know, in the new year, go for a couple of days, just get a hotel room in Toronto and, you know, that kind of thing, sort of a staycation kind of idea. And I says, well, your birthday's coming up. Why don't we do that? And I said, and I'll take you out for dinner at the Keg Mansion in downtown Toronto, and we'll have a nice time. Yeah. So, yep, we're going. Walter already got our hotel room. Actually, it was cheap.
Yeah, well, I didn't get a very expensive one, but we've
But
been
still,
there before. It's just a Holiday Inn.
Like most of the stuff downtown Toronto is like for one night, like 400 and up.
Yeah.
This we got 2 nights for 400.
Well, I think they're renovating something because they said their gym wasn't available.
Oh darn. Well, that's a real deal breaker for me. Yeah, not.
But that's okay. I don't really care.
Yeah,
We've stayed there before.
yeah. So, and it's right centrally located
It's
downtown.
in a good location. So,
Yep. We've got the regular straight street, and then we've got the gay street on either side. So, you know, we can go both ways on that. So yeah, that'll be fun. And we're talking about possibly going to something that's called Little Canada. There is this miniature village, but it's in a massive complex that they've put together of all the provinces and sites and things of Canada. And we've seen YouTube video about it, and it looks really fascinating. So we want to get tickets to go to that.
and they 3D printed a lot of it.
Yeah, a lot of it's 3D printed too. Yeah, with it. And in fact, you can go there and they have a full body scanner that you go inside, it scans you, and they make a miniature of you and will add it to the model, to the Little Canada Village. So you can be part of Little Canada Village in there. I don't know what they charge you to do that.
Probably too much.
Yeah, probably. But that's kind of cool. I mean, I already have miniatures of me, sort of. Done. But, and you. So anyways, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And that should be lots of fun. So that's not until we're going on the, what is it, the 24th?
We're going to do a
22nd?
Thursday and a Friday.
A Thursday and a Friday and come back on come home
Saturday.
on the Saturday.
So that would be, what was it?
Well, I think it's the 22nd, isn't it?
Yeah, 22nd.
Yeah. So it will not interfere with Sewing with Steven because we're not going on a Wednesday. So yeah, that's coming up. Okay, so New Year's Eve, resolutions. Okay, do you make them? We don't, because you never can keep them anyways. But for New Year's Eve, what we did, well, we stayed at home. We had lobster bites. We had a couple of lobster tails that Walter prepared and cooked, and we had little hot hors d'oeuvres, some of Walter's famous brie and cranberry or whatever you put in those things with that, and some sausage rolls. And we watched some of the fireworks on YouTube. Of course, we always watch the Sydney fireworks display because we have been there on New Year's Eve in Sydney, Australia. So they're always quite spectacular. I was a little disappointed this year, though. Only about one spot seemed to have any drones. Everybody a few years ago was doing drones on with New Year's Eve for fires across the world. And I wonder if it's because in Europe anyways.
Chongqing had drones for New
Did
Year's.
they?
Yeah.
Well, they're not worried about the Russians.
No.
Because apparently the reports are the Russians have been putting drones, military drones, into parts of Eastern Europe or something around that. And I'm wondering if other places, put up drones for the fireworks, that they were afraid the Russians or whoever would fly some of their drones in to disguise them and then wreak havoc on things. I don't know. Never heard any reports about that. Or maybe they just decided drones are so last year. I don't know with it.
Rachel says her New Year's resolution is to take early retirement from work.
Okay, well, hope that works out for you.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, we didn't do too much. In fact, I didn't stay up. I went to bed at about 10:30. I mean, I just thought, what's the point? Because I had pop-up soda day next day too. So,
I stayed up and got up late.
Yeah, but you always stay up. So what you're always up past midnight. Long past midnight. So our best ever though New Year's Eve was in
2015 to 2016.
Yeah. New Year's 2016. New Year's Eve 2015 moving to
10 years ago.
10 years ago. That was a cruise, right? Yeah.
We took a cruise from New Zealand to
Sydney,
Australia. All the way around New Zealand to Sydney. And then we got there just before we got there about 23rd of December or something like that. And then we had a hotel room till after New Year's there, and toured Sydney in that time period and did the bridge climb.
We did the bridge climb on Christmas Day. No, New Year's.
Christmas Day.
Yeah, it was Christmas Day.
Santa was at the top. We did the Sydney Harbor Bridge climb. And considering that I have a fear of heights.
Yeah, well, we were strapped in. But poor old Santa, it was so windy up at the top, he was having a hard time keeping on his hair. So it was blowing about, but that was fun. And then on New Year's Eve, we had tickets for the gala at the Sydney Opera House. And I'll never forget when Walter announced to me, again, one of his famous things. Well, I did something last night. And I went, how much is this going to cost us? And he goes, well, I got tickets for New Year's Eve at the Opera House in Sydney. And I went, oh, okay. He says, yeah, it involves a dinner and we could see the fireworks and that kind of thing. And I said, okay, how much is this going to cost? I'm thinking tickets, a couple of $100, He goes, $1,100. And I went, what? He goes, each. I went, $2,200 for this? What are we getting? Well, I'll tell you this. After the initial sticker shock, it was well worth it because you went and they had champagne and everything. You were supposed to dress up a little bit for it. We weren't in tuxedos or suits, but we had, nice dress shirts, pants, and that for it all. You got champagne and hors d'oeuvres, and then you were seated, and we had this wonderful dinner. Sat with some lovely people from, I think, someplace Michigan or Colorado, weren't they?
Yeah, something.
Colorado. Like they were lovely family. Then you went into the Opera House proper for a show, and they had like some of their opera company people, principal singers there, the symphony orchestra, and it was just fun. It wasn't stodgy or like classical.
And they had a master of ceremonies that did
hilarious.
Jokes all the way through it and
was
stuff. And then at 9 o'clock they broke.
They broke for
they had an intermission.
And at that time, you got to see, they have more than one fireworks display. They have at 9 o'clock or so, they have a smaller fireworks display, and they call it the children's fireworks display. They put that on. And so we were up
thinking more for families that don't want to stay up late to watch the big fireworks.
Yeah.
They have this 9 o'clock set of fireworks they do off the bridge. And you can see the bridge from the Opera House. So
Yeah. And we're up in those, you know how the Opera House is shaped like big sails, right? Well, we were in one of those that, we're inside, but we have perfect view of the fireworks. You couldn't have had a better setting for it. And they always put music to the fireworks as well. So that's all piped into where you are looking at it. So it's, it's spectacular. And you have to remember that it is December, so it's summer there. So it's really nice. It's warm, very warm actually, with the whole thing. So then you went back in after the children's fireworks display, back in for the rest of the show, and it was so good. It was funny. It was excellent. Then you went out, and they had an open bar.
you could get anything you wanted.
Anything you wanted.
Including champagne. And you got, they put out another food buffet.
Yes.
At night.
Like all kinds of
before
fancy hors d'oeuvres.
midnight. Yeah. And then at midnight, you got to watch
fireworks display and the whole bit. It was worth every cent. That is the best New Year's Eve we've ever had. And if you want to see it, I have part of it. There is a playlist on my channel called Australia 2015 or 2016, I think. And it's in there, New Year's Eve one. And you can get a taste of what we saw.
Yeah.
So,
the reason I ended up booking that was when I went looking around on the internet before we went. Originally, I saw that a long time ago when we booked the trip, the New Year's Eve at the Opera House, and I saw it was $1,100. And I thought, oh, that's too expensive. And then I went looking around before we went as to where we were going to go at New Year's to see the fireworks. And another alternative would have been to go to the lawns that surround the Opera House that you could go in and get there, right? And they do have a free area, but you have to line up, camp out a day in advance to get into the free area.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do that. I didn't want to do that. So for another paid venue was the lawns that are around the Opera House. There's an Opera House. There's a big park around it. And to get into that area, just to get into that area was $500.
Yeah.
And then you still had to get your own food and your own drinks and everything else. And I thought, well, if I have to pay that's $1,000 for the two of us. So I said, well, if we're gonna have to pay that much, we might as well go to the Opera House and do it.
And like I said, best money we ever spent. Loved it. It was the best New Year's Eve ever.
Yeah, and then on top of that, what else on top of the price of that? Sydney hotels downtown jack up the prices really bad at New Year's. So the $200 hotel room we had was now $800 for that night. Plus you have to book the two rooms on either side of the New Year's Eve room. So they were $400 each of the nights. So it was another $1,600 for hotel rooms.
It was not cheap, but it was worth it. It was really worth it. Laurel says that would have been concerning a lifetime. Okay, spell check. Maybe
That
concert or lifetime.
Yeah.
The Opera House is amazing. We didn't see Oprah. Yeah. Let's see. Laurel says, spell check is my friend today. The Opera House would have been awesome. Yeah. Figure that out. Betty says, sounds so wonderful. What a vacation. Yeah, it was. Brad has to go off the nap before. Okay, see you later, Brad.
It is something. It was expensive, but it was something that we didn't regret doing.
So, anyways, far cry from what we did this year or even the year before. That was
the best New Year's.
Yeah, that was the best one yet. So then we're talking about resolutions and plans and things, and people make plans at New Year's time for the rest of the year, and whether we keep them or not, life happens. So you don't check.
People that want to lose weight get a gym membership at this time of year, and they last for till about the end of February, and then they stop doing that. So
so we do have plans, as you know. We're travel plans. We're going to go to Japan in the spring, in May, for a couple of weeks. So that's on our list, things to do. But that's already booked and everything there. We've
I have to make a few final plans, but
so that's to look forward to. Other things that we need to do or would like to do? Well, home improvement, you know, if you have a house, there's always things to do for that. I mean, we didn't do bad last year. We got pretty much most of our windows done. We still have about 3, but we might want patio doors at some point. But we really need to get rid of the hot tub because we don't use it anymore, and it's a 25-year-old, 26-year-old hot tub. So that's going to be a bit of a chore because we got to find somebody who's going to come and lug it away for us because it's in our backyard. You have to go down a little hill to get there.
I mean, worst comes to worst, we chop it into pieces. And...
yeah, we'll have a hot tub destruction party. I don't know. So that we need to redo some floors and carpeting. I don't know if all that's going to get done this year. We'll have to wait and see. Because the big thing right now is our trip to Japan, and that's not particularly inexpensive. So, you know, all these things come with a price tag. So that's a problem there. So as far as quilting and sewing is concerned, well, I've already talked about what my plans are and everything. And what are your plans in quilting and sewing? Well, learn how to use Lucy to do that.
Learn how to use
I'm
Lucy.
pushing Lucy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
But you have a couple of things you wanted to make too. You were saying like beyond shirts.
Yeah, there's a couple other things I want to make.
Like what?
A jacket that's sort of like one of these things.
Oh.
And a fleecy type jacket. And maybe a couple other things. I don't know yet. I have to see.
Yeah, we'll see how that reality works out with all of that. So, of course, always with the new year, we're looking towards the next year and what will come our way. And if you think back to 2025, it was a shit year in many ways when you look at the world scene. And when I say the world scene, well, you know who we're talking about. So, what am we looking forward to in 2026? Trump dying.
Here, absolutely. I know somebody had dug a hole in his land and buried his hot tub.
He didn't want it anymore. He's quirky. He also owns an army tank. Okay. I'd say you want to be on the good side of him. Yeah. So, and it would be, now there's all talk. I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm out for a walk. And of course, there's a lot of talk about what the Americans call the primaries. Don't really understand them, but I guess it's where you vote for people for Congress or something, and they're really hoping to replace the Republicans with the Democrats out of that. Who knows what's going to happen with that, right? It would be nice if they just get some intelligent people, you know, to overthrow the boob, the great pumpkin. World peace would be nice. Yeah. That sounds like a Miss America thing. And I really want world peace. But you know, think about it right now, which is scary. The world is not at peace. Not that it has been, right? But it's really, there seems to be an awful lot of tyrants out there. Trump being one of them. I mean, look what he's just did with Venezuela. Now, yeah, Venezuela has now had their tyrant replaced with a new tyrant under the guise that, you know, the drug thing and everything. No, it's an oil thing. But yeah, you know, in the Middle East, well, I mean, the Gaza Strip and the whole bit, I thought they had a ceasefire and were heading towards peace, but they still seem to be blowing each other up. So how's that working out? Russia, Ukraine? Yeah. Anyways, better economy. Oh, yeah. Food prices are going to drop. Not here in Canada. And I don't think so anywhere else either. You know, we have a code of conduct for the grocery stores that our government was able to get them to agree to. But it's just a little agreement. It's not binding contract. Like, and who's going to police it when they gouge us? And they are gouging us. And they have been for quite a while. I mean, record profits for all our major food chains here in Canada in the last quarter. Yeah, that sounds like their little code of conduct's working out real well for us, isn't it? I guess overall we need a kinder world. but it's hard to be kind when the world's shitting on you, you know. But we need to try a little bit. I don't know. So I don't want to rain on the parade of a new year, but is it going to be better? Well, we can hope. We can hope. Don't really know.
We need more quilters.
Yes, we need more quilters. If the world was full of more quilters and sewers, yep, there would be peace, world peace on that. Unless there was a fabric sale and all the bolts we wanted were, well, we'd all be pulling each other's hair out for them. Yeah. Karen says, I wish Canada, therefore NATO, would regime change the USA. Yeah, we wish that too, but the problem is the great orange pumpkin seems to have too much power. And, you know,
Kimberly Gray is trying to take over your feed.
Oh, Kimberly Gray, if you don't like it that we're talking about politics, you're free to leave. Just want you to know, we're not holding you hostage here. So, yeah. And I don't like your tone of voice either. So leave politics out. Why not?
Shut up.
Why don't we just leave you out? Do you get my point, sweetie? If you want you use your own channel.
Yes.
For this. Yeah. No. So you may unsubscribe now. Bye-bye. Let's see. Great orange pumpkin. Yeah, whatever. So it's, you know, who knows? Let us hope that 2026 will be a better year. But things right now, the whole Venezuela thing and whatnot, you know, where will he stop?
She says, okay, bye.
Bye. Good, she's gone. Goodbye, bitch. Yeah. So, yeah, what else do we need to say about New Year's? Nothing much more. I guess hopefully we'll have another one next year.
Yeah.
With it all. And I guess we just got to take it one day at a time.
Exactly.
That's what people say. I don't know.
Happy quilting.
Yeah, happy quilting. Go to your happy place and quilt. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Okay, so I think that's it for us today, everybody. So tune in next week to the vlog, and tune into Idiot Quilter as well. I'm going to talk about why I wasn't happy with myself making the mini zip case and other things like that, and have other things to show you too and talk about then as well. And then So Chatty, this coming Friday, we've got the topic is one that it was suggested to me by a subscriber, and I didn't really know what she meant at first, and I inquired a little bit more, and I got the confusion out of my head. And at first my gut reaction was, well, I don't think I could do much with this. But then I got thinking about it, and yes, I can do something about that. That's all I'm going to say about it. You'll have to tune in to find out what that's all about. So everybody, have a nice what's left of the weekend and everything, and I hope you all have a nice week next week, and join us for Sewing with Stephen on Wednesday if you can or you wish to, and we'll see you later. So thanks for coming out, everybody. Happy New Year to you all.
Yeah.